Hi, everyone, here and around the world. It's good to be back live with you. Last Wednesday, we were all ready to be here live, but our Earthfiles video tech was sick after returning from his vacation. And without him, we can't do a live Earthfiles. So cheers, he is back feeling much better. And before then, we had been rebroadcasting Earthfiles since the June summer solstice because I had a research trip to the East Coast and a 4th of July summer holiday in Philadelphia at my daughter's home, where we set off fireworks on the front sidewalk and drank champagne at the Philadelphia Harbor. Here's my daughter, Laura Mead, my beautiful granddaughter, Hannah, and her dad, John Mead. They live in a house that is full of dog and cat furry souls, where Hannah has a blue water tank to raise shiny goldfish, not too far from the Atlantic Ocean, where we had a wonderful day with seagulls circling around us, calling out for food. And Laura even drove me to Washington, D.C., where I visited Tennessee's 2nd District Congressional Representative, Tim Burchett, at his Longworth office. A year ago, on July 26, 2023, it was Representative Burchett who organized that House subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UFOs and UAPs, with military UFO eyewitnesses that included Department of Defense intelligence analyst and now whistleblower David Grush. Based on his firsthand U.S. Air Force intelligence work, Mr. Grush testified that the U.S. is concealing a, quote, multi-decade program, meaning for many years, that captures UFOs, close quote. Also telling their own firsthand military experiences with UFOs were former military pilot Ryan Graves at the left of Mr. Grush and former military pilot David Fravor on the far right. But soon after that important subcommittee hearing, the Pentagon stubbornly pushed back against the validity of these highly credible whistleblowers. That provoked The Hill in Washington, D.C. 1 month ago, on July 8, 2024, to ask, quote, why is the Pentagon's UFO office so clueless about UFOs, close quote. Well, let's call it Pentagon misinformation. The Pentagon's pushback has slowed down but not stopped Representative Burchett's goal to have more UFO UAP hearings to open up more facts. And we are back live tonight with unusual UFO reports from 2 commercial cargo airline pilots. Each pilot has more than 25 years flying, but each has asked for anonymity about a recent mystery in the night skies that neither had seen, they said, before May 2024 of this year. And most recently, again, on July 4th, 2024. Both pilots are frustrated that they feel they must still hide their identity if they report UFOs. After all, it has been 77 years since the famous Roswell UFO crash was reported July 8, 1947, on the front page of the Roswell Daily Record. And yet we still have not had a global announcement of the big truth that whistleblowers have leaked since at least World War II, that we humans are not alone in this universe, and other advanced intelligences interact with Earth now and have for centuries. Even with Elon Musk's Starlink, first launched 5 years ago on May 24th, 2019, until now. I have never had 2 seasoned commercial cargo airline pilots reach out to me to report that only since May of 2024, just in the last few weeks, have they seen odd moving lights in Earth's skies they insist are not Starlink satellites. And one provocative question to me is, would ETs in advanced technologies hide their presence on Earth by camouflaging their presence in copying what humans do, even among Starlink? After midnight on July 4th, only a month ago, Captain R and co-pilot Captain G flew a Boeing 767 at 39,000 feet from Miami, Florida to Louisville, Kentucky, and later on to Central America's Guatemala La Aurora Airport. Both pilots saw odd moving lights high above Earth, perhaps even at the edge of space.
Going to and coming from, if you follow one of them, you'll see that they're moving from right to left, left to right, stopping in midair. There's one there moving from left to right. These are not satellites because they're going up and down, left and right. They bright them and then they stop and then they turn back where they were going to and coming from. If you follow one of them, you'll see. There you go. They're coming bright. Look at that.
Yeah, what would a UFO be doing though? That's what I can't answer. They're going way down low and way up high.
There's another one there. There's Jacksonville right there. So the lights are way, way north of Miami, Orlando, Daytona Beach, now Jacksonville. Now we only see lights maybe once every couple of minutes. Before they were all over the place. I even called, I call air traffic control and asked them if they had anything on the radar. They said no, nothing on the radar. There they are, there's one of them, faint. There you go, I'm filming you right now. It went dark again. There it is, right there. Look at that.
There's two of them.
There's one appearing right there on the left. There you go. I got him on video. And see, there's them right there becoming bright. You can't see it on video, but it's not as bright as they were. Hey, there they are. There's one right there.
I see four. There's four of them.
Four of them? Where?
There's that one, and two down below, but now that they're dim.
That's amazing. There you go. It's getting brighter again.
Yeah, there's one above it and one below it.
Yeah, they're too dim for the camera to register. But I got these bright ones. I think they'll be able to see those. There's bright again. There you go. Bright again.
Two of them.
Two of them. This is amazing. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me know when you see them, because I guess your eyes are better than mine. There he goes.
There's a little one up top, up high.
Up high, right? But it's not right. There's one there coming up.
They're going way down low and way up high.
There's another one there coming up. I can see it. It's being filmed. Let me pull the zoom on it.
the same place?
They're not satellites because they'll be gone if they were satellites. They're in the same place, going in circles, going up, going down, going left, going right. No way. That's no way.
The strange lights moving in odd patterns might be out as far as 62 miles from the Earth's surface. That's called the Kármán line, where the vacuum of black space meets Earth's blue atmosphere, as shown in this NASA photo from the International Space Station. In other recent trips from Miami around the Gulf of Mexico to La Aurora Airport in Guatemala, the pilots have also seen the same strange moving lights amid the stars. Captain R said that a trip around the Gulf of Mexico takes about 3 hours, which air cargo companies often fly after midnight. And Captain R stressed with me that, quote, flying mostly at night for my professional career, I learned the difference between planets, shooting stars, meteorites, St. Elmo's fire, static electricity, Elon Musk satellites, constellations, etc. And I can say for sure that what we have witnessed fell into its own UFO category. The cargo plane's Captain R has watched the strange faraway moving lights on several flights now with his co-pilot G. He has worked 35 years for the same large cargo airline. Captain R started flying planes when he was only 13 years old and has been an airline pilot since age 21. Do you have a personal, intuitive sense of whether they are from beyond Earth or any other impression?
Oh, yeah, obviously they're beyond Earth, because I can look at a bright light in the sky and immediately tell you, oh, that's Venus over there, that's Saturn, that's Jupiter over there, that's a shooting star, that's an airplane turning, and that's a helicopter with a spotlight on. I know, just based on my experience flying at night for 35 years, just looking at a specific dot in the sky, I can tell you what it is, or better yet, I can tell you what it's not. And what we were looking at July the 4th was not a planet, was not Venus, was not swamp gas, was not airplanes. The air traffic controller confirmed with me, didn't have anything on his radar.
Since I have talked to so many people in aerospace and military who say, yes, Linda, it's true. They're extraterrestrial intelligences. These are very advanced technologies. And I always say, why can't the whole world be told the truth? And I'd like to say to you as an experienced pilot, why do you think we are not being told the truth about the presence of advanced technologies and intelligences that are beyond human?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, how can the United States Air Force justify not being able to control these lights from coming or going anytime they wish? And also, how would the population take this revelation as far as religion or social factors? So I think, although I would like to know the truth, I believe right now we would have more to lose than to gain.
In what way?
I think in disruption of the social ways that we're accustomed to, I think too many things could change all at once, from religion to the stock market, and some people might see this situation as an excuse to cause harm. Instead of unite the planet, people would try to disrupt and take advantage of the situation. I would like to know the truth. Here's a good example. When I'm up there at 39,000 feet and I put my night vision goggles on, I see billions and billions and billions of stars. Think that each one of those bright dots that I'm looking at, each dot has 5 to 10 planets going round and round. There's just no way we're the only ones out there. No way, no way.
Why the lights would be for 45 minutes changing positions in what seem to be so many at the same time. What are they and what are they doing?
Actually, I was looking at them going, why are they flying in a circle? Are they looking at something? Because they're in space. Why are they flying in a circle in space? And then why did they stop flying in circles? And then why did they just fly from left to right and up and down and up? I don't have an explanation. And this is my first public statement in my career ever. And the only reason I'm telling you everything I just told you is because how impressive it was. It was amazing.
I've been flying professionally for 29 years, and there's on occasion been some things in the skies that you see, and you really aren't sure what they are. But this year, 2024, I've actually seen quite a few times this cluster of lights in the sky that move in this particularly random way. And I've seen that now 4 times this year so far. And it's something I haven't seen previously until this year.
Is there anything that you've noticed in terms of time cycle?
Well, the first time I saw these, it was 3 nights in a row. I was flying from Bogota, Colombia to Miami. So we were at the same route, the same time every night. And I saw them about the same time in the middle of the night, early morning, from my perspective off the right side of the airplane, as we were approaching Cuba, but it was not over Cuba. They were north and way high up in the sky. And they were always in the same spot in the sky every night, 3 nights in a row, May 2nd, May 3rd, and May 4th. And then I didn't fly that route again until I flew with Captain R. It was actually a different route. This route was just from Miami to Louisville. We saw them also off in that same general area. The lights behaving the same way, moving the same way. So what I can't say is, are they there every night? I don't fly that same route every night, so I don't know if they're actually there every night. I kind of tend to believe they might be, and I only saw them 4 times because I was flying at that time of night when they were out.
Well, Captain R said they are out in outer space. They're not down lower in our atmosphere. And he made the point that you were flying at 39,000 feet. And if you look up the Kármán line that defines where space might begin from the atmosphere of Earth, it's about 62 miles up.
62 miles, that seems like a long way. They were definitely higher than any aircraft is going to fly because they just seemed way up and out there. You know, I don't know if I can say that they were 62 miles, but most commercial airliners fly around 39,000 feet, and these were definitely way higher than that.
Has anybody else been reporting this strange behavior of lights that dim and brighten and right and left and up and down? That's not what satellites do.
We were doing that night from Bogota, 3 different captains on those 3 nights in a row, and I would point them out to each captain, and Captain R was not one of those that night. The other captains, they kind of like, all of them just said, oh, it's probably just satellites. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, satellites don't move like that.
Right.
Captain R that night, he talked to air traffic control and asked them if they were showing anything on radar. And they said no. And that would make sense because it was probably way too high and out of their radar coverage. Said they hadn't seen anything. I will say, sometimes when we fly across the country, like from East Coast to West Coast, there's been a couple nights, there was a lot of chatter. We have a frequency in the air that's kind of an emergency frequency, but people chat on it sometimes. And there was a lot of chatter one night about people saying, oh my gosh, do you see those lights? Do you see those lights up there? They're moving all over the place, really crazy. There were other people seeing strange lights in the sky. I can only speak to what I saw those 4 nights. They were more out over the Atlantic Ocean area.
If it's related to other intelligences interacting with our planet, shouldn't we be trying to find out what is going on?
Yeah, I would love to know what those are. They zing so fast. There'll be 2 right next to each other, and they'll just go zing opposite directions so fast. Then they disappear, and then they go up and down, and zings all over the place. And I just can't imagine satellites to move that way. So I don't know what they are. And the fact that they're there every night in the same place.
And when you think of the letters UFO or UAP and the controversy that keeps growing, in which military have testified to Congressman Burchett's House subcommittee a year ago in 2023. And there are many reports that the government of the United States and other governments on this planet know about the presence of something that would be in the category of non-human, interacting with Earth, the Moon, Mars, Ganymede, and all over the place. What is your perspective on how important it would be for the planet to move toward whatever answers our governments have, toward truth, instead of denial that anything strange is happening in our own skies?
If they are hiding it, I don't know why they would want to hide it from us. I can't help but believe that there are aliens, intelligent life forms, other places in the universe. I believe they're out there, and I don't know what kind of contact they've already made or if they're already here, why they would be hiding. If they were here, why they're not making more communication with us. Why it's secret, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Yes, it is puzzling about where is the impetus for the policy of denial and silence of the extraterrestrials who do not want humans to know that they are here? Or is it the governments for centuries who have kept power because they have kept secrets about the presence that they have known about for a very long time?
Yeah, why can't we just know about it? If they're so curious about us, what are they doing? Why are they just studying us? Why aren't they communicating with us? Why don't they just come and meet us?
And this afternoon, Ian Holling in the UK sent me a recent Quora comment that might also be another facet of mystery lights interacting with our planet and our civilization, not only above us, but around us on Earth. And this is from Troy McDonald in Redmond, Oregon. Quote, "I saw a star in the sky last night, and it kept increasing in brightness and dimming, and it will move up and down and then shoot to the right and then go in circles. What is it?" That was his question to Quora. And then, "I couldn't tell you for sure what it is a reply, but from what I've seen, there is an orb of some kind, some small and some larger, around 4 to 5 feet. I think they are a type of metallic device that emits like an LED does. I have seen the same thing where it goes bright and dim. I have seen them several times under the clouds on stormy nights. They're closer to Earth than other stars, it looks like to me. I'm up for conversation and trading videos, pictures, stories with anyone that's up for it. I'm based in Redmond, Oregon, and I see there are others from my location. There are also some people from my town not on here that I have found that have video and pictures. Most all of the comments are close to the same explanations. I have a rather strange experience with them that I have documented over the last 2 years, since right after COVID hit. I've been to doctors, I've had eye exams done, and aced all the tests with perfect vision. The doctors cannot find anything wrong with me. But it sounds crazy, so I just don't bother talking to people about seeing, as he says, these metallic-based orbs. And then he says, I've seen light during hours, almost dusk, that didn't light up. I was in the mountains cutting firewood, and whatever this object was, made out of metal, it came down out of the sky, hovered across a couple miles of sky, and then disappeared up into the sky again. This silver metallic looking object was around Mount Bachelor near Redmond, Oregon. It lasted about 2 minutes. No video of this event. My phone was in my truck, and I was cutting wood when it happened. And I thought that particular Quora just recently posted sort of sums up some of the different facets that we're on a planet where people have been reporting for centuries little orbs following. And we're now in a century in which there are the interactions described by many people, whether it's in an apartment or whether it's in a car, in which the first thing that they see on what I would say is an experience of interaction with other intelligences that might not even be from this dimension. And that the lights, whether they're little orbs or bigger, or now a new data point is being added, something that looks metallic, that this witness associates with either generating lights or producing lights. In an odd way, as I worked on this particular show for tonight, it was striking me that we have been over 70 years, going all the way back to 47. It's evolved from maybe discs all the way up to the very, very advanced, many different patterns of craft in the skies now that people illustrate, some round, some oval, some triangular, some diamond shape, some shaped like cubes, red squares. All of that is being reported and even illustrated. And yet we still don't have that 4-inch high headline in places around the world, finally announcing what should seem so obvious, that we're not alone in this universe and that other intelligences interact and are based in our solar system, are based in our planet. Why, as Captain G asked so politely, why don't they come here? Why must it be kept a secret? And on that note, Ian, if you are there, I would like to introduce you. He has been ill, but he sounded great before we went on the air, and I'm so glad, because I thought coming back without him would have been not cool. So, Ian, are you there? And I'm very curious if you have comments already from comments and the chat by people who themselves may have seen these strange moments in where it appears that like the stars themselves move in odd patterns. I have been getting photographs actually of patterns of light in the sky. I do not know what to make of it because we're in the age of the remote drones. And so separating truth from manipulation, from deliberate manipulating everything for some denial, which the government has often done. It's as if something is approaching us in bits and pieces, while there is this huge policy that none of us are to know anything, and yet the other keeps coming through. What comments do we have tonight so far?
Good evening, Linda, and welcome back to our wonderful Earthfiles audience this evening. Yes, well, we've got several comments here. One comment here straight out back is Jude McGill says, I love hearing from pilots. Finally, they feel safer to speak out. I know some are seeking anonymity, but I know that you and Brad have been in edit all day, but today the news breaking in UFO news has been about Boeing pilots spot mysterious, strange lights dancing in the sky, dancing in the night sky, shared by a pilot who felt brave enough to post on his own YouTube channel while flying the Boeing 747 flight from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia to Nigeria. And he witnessed multiple UFOs performing extreme maneuvers in the night sky.
Ian, what was the date of his observation?
I've been trying to determine that. All I can tell you at the moment is it was in the last few weeks, the last 2 or 3 weeks by the looks of it. I'm narrowing down some of these news reports to get more details.
Well, this is great, and we need more reports, because I have the sense, and so does Captain R and Captain G and other colleagues of theirs that don't want to be in public. It is as if something, like another gear shift has been pulled, and that we're going to have more and more and more of these kinds of sightings. For what reason, not at all clear. But it would be so great if there is any possibility of people listening now, perhaps the individual, of getting in touch with me about how to communicate with you so we could bring you what you just talked about, Ian, that particular individual, if they are available, that we could bring them into Earthfiles to talk about exactly what they saw.
Yes. I'm just checking to see what was described here about the object's bright light was also seen flickering at times and fully disappeared during moments as well. The footage has been re-uploaded online as well with enhancements to make the objects easier to spot. And yeah, even the pilot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Oh, no, you go ahead.
Well, what I'm wondering, there's about 6,000 of the Starlink satellites that are up around the Earth right now. I believe Brad was doing some research on that. And I think that there's a goal to double that number. What would be very interesting is to see, could, let's say, this pilot sighting be in a direction, in an area where the Starlink satellites could not explain anything? Is it possible to prove a negative like that between the Starlinks that can be thrown as explanations for everything, but that may just be a cover? And this is the kind of help that I would appreciate from people who are professionals, whether in military or in science or wherever. That I think it's an agitated time, really agitated, and something is shaking things up, and this may be one of the symptoms, Ian.
I think that this pilot is fairly convinced these are not anything that he would recognize as such because of the movement. He says it also aggressively broke off in other directions at random with no indication of direction change, and describes it as eerily similar to the UFO depicted in the hit show The X-Files. The light of the UFO in front of us moves freely, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, sometimes left, right, or vice versa, he added.
Like an echo of what's being reported by the airline people watching these strange lights in the sky. I just sense, intuitively, I just have a sense that a gear shift has been pulled and something is either getting closer, but doing it in ways that are camouflaged still by what human life is like. And when you start looking at some of these phenomena through that lens, things do begin to have a strange logic. So if there's anybody listening tonight who recognizes any pieces of any of this, please get in touch. One of the things that I'm hoping as we go forward in this, we'll call it the new season of Earthfiles, is that for those of you who have extraordinary experiences that relate to what we are talking about on each Earthfiles, is there some way that, even when I understand you don't want your phone numbers on the public chat, but is there some way that you could always, all of you, if there is something important, that you can email earthfiles@earthfiles.com a phone number or phone numbers related to X subject, because it is hard. Ian is fantastic about going through all of your comments, all of your chats. He does this so well. And then he sends me 5 or 6 follow-up, or he's following up for me to get the handshake so that we can talk. And that's where we have a block, isn't it, Ian, about the next step that I need is a phone number.
Yeah, that's what we do normally. We reach out to people sometimes through the chat. We only have the identification through, let's say, the comments, that are left after the show below the description of the show on YouTube. Thankfully, people sometimes do notice that and get straight back to us, and then they're able to give us contact details, and we can follow up. But it's not always successful, and sometimes it's tantalizingly frustrating because we don't have any further follow up with people.
And
so
and your submissions, all of you. I mean, I have half a dozen that I just think, oh my gosh, what I mean, half a dozen all the time that are churning from shows where I would love to talk with this person now in order to develop a facet. And I know it's generic to everybody has this problem, because it's important for you to feel comfortable in anonymity. And I understand that so well. And this is not forcing communication of address, phone number, and email in public in any way, because you can get it to me privately through ProtonMail or the U.S. mail or FedEx. And that's what some people do. So I guess we're saying here there appears to be even possibly new facets of phenomena, and to keep up with everything that is happening, a two-way street through Ian Holling to our Earthfiles YouTube channel, so I can communicate with a lot of you faster. It would be fantastic. That's our goal. If anybody has more suggestions, please send them. Communication has always been a problem in this field, always will be until it's finally opened up publicly, which is, I hope, the goal soon. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like there may be some shift going on, because now pilots feeling brave enough to come forward and actually post on their own YouTube channel, post a speculative video, something that they cannot explain. This is quite a shift from, I'm sure we all remember that scene in Close Encounters when air traffic control says, "Do you wish to report a UFO?" Right. Over, and there's a pause, and then, "No, we don't want to report a UFO." That was the standard for so long. Now it looks like the floodgates are open. Let's report the UFOs. Let's put this information together. Let's analyze it, and let's get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and Ian, you're underscoring why I had to call them Captain G and Captain R, at their request, because even though they wanted me to see what they had shot, I had several videos that the R, I want to make sure I don't say names, that R sent me. I have several videos that he took. That was fantastic. And so we're at this point where to be able to talk with them openly, isn't it crazy that they still have to give alphabet letters and can't be in front of a camera saying everything that they saw firsthand? When will that change is part of what I hope will be a positive revolution.
Yeah, that's it. It looks like we're seeing a partial change by some people who are now feeling much more confident and emboldened, but I think it may still take a while before it gets across the board. We've got Rebel Raider in the chat this evening. Says, "Linda, you need to come investigate the eastern part of Tennessee where the Appalachian Mountains and the skies are so clear you can go on top of the mountains and see a lot more." Rebel Raider says frequently sees objects in the sky, orbs, etc., and has videos of them as well. And we welcome any videos to be sent to earthfiles@earthfiles.com. I had a fantastic video that I've uploaded to you for today. I know you and Brad have been an editor as well, but there's a good video that somebody has sent me, again from our Earthfiles audience, of a triangular craft over a pasture in Arkansas. So,
and for those of you who might have military or intel information and could get me just this much in some form, FedEx or whatever, it's my understanding that these different geometries, the triangle is different from the diamond. The circle is different from the oval, which is different from the red square, that there are these different geometry shapes. And if you know what's in them, you begin to divide who is which on what side of some kind of a sophisticated conflict that is ongoing on Earth now and may actually be the residue of World War II that never went away and is just resurging. Whatever that truth is, if you see a triangle is not a diamond. People mix them up. And it's my understanding, it's a possibility, let's put it that way, that inside the large triangles are the tall whites. What can they do or not do that any of all those other shapes can or cannot do? And what I'm bringing up is there's a lot of knowledge about camouflage, ancient evolving conflicts, all coming to some kind of a forefront in our planet right now at this time that seems so agitated in human life, and that the various shapes and patterns of the craft themselves are an indication, possibly, of what is happening in any part of the earth and who is dominant. If any of you listening have actual firsthand data on those different craft, and then there's always that immediate question, well, what has the United States and its allies since World War II, what have they built that is a mix with the actual extraterrestrial craft? It's a very good question. I'm not going to answer what I have been told, but I would be very interested if so many of you pay such detailed attention to everything, that the shapes of craft and which are showing up the most where would be very interesting as a project where, depending upon what I get as information, I could do as a program here, with the idea that I'm trying to bring to the Earthfiles YouTube channel information that may not be necessarily absolutely proved, maybe not hard evidence, but that they exist. And that's the challenge in so much around this subject. And it's people who have had real experiences, real professional experiences. And so many of you do send me notes saying, I really want to talk with you in depth. And I would like to hear in depth from professionals. I always protect anyone who reaches out. It's just a question of how to do it. And what is the true context of this particular period in the timeline where everybody is feeling this terrific agitation, and that Luis Elizondo, who I respect very much, like very much, cannot wait to read his book. The word in the center front of his book, it was the first thing, the first moment I saw the fraction of a second. My God, he put imminent right there, center, front. And in military, which he has a long background, imminent has to do with something that is upon us. Well, for those of you who may have some insights into what may be related to strange motions at the edge of space, as well as different patterns of craft that many of them may not have ever been in the world of Earth manufacturing ever, are from someplace else. And the more we can have dialogue with each other about this, and the word imminent, in military terms, imminent is, boy, you better pay attention because something's coming like that. What is it? What does Lou know? And if there's some of you who have information, Ian and I are standing by. All right, go ahead, Ian.
Okay, we've got Victoria Schoenberger in the chat this evening, who says, if non-humans do not want themselves introduced to us, then why buzz aircraft and spacecraft? If non-humans want to be kept secret from us, why abduct people? Why allow so many UFOs to be seen? These are the same questions that are asked, and good questions. But why are they doing this if they want to remain with a secret mission?
Excellent question, and the implication is what I have been trying to understand since 1979. The concept of UFO and extraterrestrial had existed for a long time on this planet before 1979. But that was the pivotal year in my professional life as director of special projects at the CBS station in Denver when animal mutilations rose. And you all know about that. And my first book, An Alien Harvest, is all about the millions of things that I learned, photographed, the lands that I went to, and ending up working with pathologist John Altshuler in Denver and learning that he was really taken aback at the first examination of excision tissue, meaning the mutilation tissue that I got to him from a mutilation. And he is seeing that the blood and the hemoglobin were cooked. The high temperature was applied, but only on an extremely thin line. And the point I'm going to make is that when you ask the question, why would there be any craft? Why would there be anything physical from ETs on our planet? Because they could hide. I think it answers the question. They want humans to be aware. They may be evolving us to finally interaction. But I think underneath all of it, John Mack, Dr. Mack at Harvard, and I talked about this. I talked about it a lot with Bud Hopkins. And I bring those two up because they were truly the first people who were trying to do a lot of medical and in scientific research. I don't know why anyone would be calling me now, but we're going to hang up. And often was that same question. Why do the non-humans make themselves so visible and interactive with some people, and with others, they are maybe brought conscious in a bedroom at night in the dark, and the person sees only a silhouette because of light coming through a window. And the silhouette can be a hulk, can be a gray, can be a tall, can be anything. It's silhouette, it's black. And the person in the bed is terrified and cannot move. The paralysis of people in beds, children and adults. It always gave me pause. Why? Bud and I talked about this a lot. Why? Why would there be all of these indications of handling us as if whatever they were going to do or whatever they were going to harvest, human eggs, human sperm, both from living humans and from mutilated animals around the world, same kind of harvest, but just treated differently. Then what is the biggest box? Well, there may be several big boxes, but the one that always came to the surface in those discussions the most is that this planet has been used as a genetic harvest by many species for a very long time, and that we are ourselves a product of genetic manipulation in already evolving primates to create a being. Our name is Homo sapien. And if you put that on the desk on one side, and then you say, what are the positives? Do you see, are there any proof? Is there any evidence that any of what is interacting with our planet cares or is trying to evolve a being that will not be self-destructive? But here we are in August of 2024, and what Homo sapiens are doing to each other around the world seems self-destructive. Part of being able to come together and ask these difficult questions, at least it helps me try to bring to you people and information that may or may not be firsthand relevant, but that's what I'm trying to do. And that in telling you what I just finished saying, I think what I'm feeling inside myself is that I feel everything is so complicated. It is just so complicated, and there are so many different lenses, if you take that as the metaphor for what you can look through to get real data that is honest, not lies and deceptions, real lenses. I strive for that all the time. And the fact that in this year of 2024, that the Earth seems to be as agitated as it is, from climate to humans in every direction. What is coming? I don't feel fear. I feel like we are almost already prepared in a strange way through all of the books and the television and film and everything that has been happening from the 40s to now, having to do with discs and Michael Rennie and, you know, the day the Earth stood still, from that ilk up to now. And yet we still don't have clarity. And that's why Lou Elizondo's word, imminent, the big word across the middle of his book, it makes me nervous. Well, I hope that we are going to find ourselves evolving into a period where finally we're going to be introduced to some beings that are very advanced and that they actually care about us surviving. And that in this process of transition from a world that was never told the truth to a world where we will hopefully always be told the truth, that there will be a whole new study and handshake about what we are as a species, genetically manipulated. And that out of all of this, maybe it is absolutely true what some of the abductees have said for years. If humans only understood how important their soul is and their very blood. That's a phrase that also came to me from Betty Andreessen, sitting in a lunch meeting with 3 or 4 other people. Her fist came up and it came down on the table. She wasn't angry. In fact, I think she was almost exhilarated by the discussion that we were all having. But she said, Linda, the key is in our blood. The key is in our genes. We don't understand that big picture. But maybe we are evolving to something in which there will be a clarity, something will open up. And if there have been other beings that have been trying to take advantage of our entire species not knowing the truth, out of denial, maybe to protect us, but nevertheless, we have been existing on this planet for a long time without understanding the bigger boxes around us at all. And if we are now moving into this part of this century in which the truth, the real truths, are finally going to be shared, the words that I think will survive all of this, and that I hope will help humans as they evolve past this difficult time, are: there is a thought, a huge thought, that dwells in the light. And I think that it cares about the evolution of souls, and that I know that humans have good souls, for the most part. Now come back, circle. What's moving out on the edge of space? What are the different patterns? What is it that the different species want? Well, that's part of our learning curve. And that's why I'm doing the Earthfiles YouTube channel. And I'd love to hear from you about any evidentiary material that you can provide and that we can bring and share. That may help us as we get through what feels like a time of a certain kind of revolution of mind, body, and spirit coming in our future. And that's when we need to be able to say to each other, fellow being, agape hug. And on that note, I want to say I'm so happy to see you through the electrons again, and we will see you here next week.
Turn on closed captions for YouTube videos by clicking the white CC button on the lower right. The default language for Linda's videos is English. If you would like to see the captions in another language, click on the white settings button next to the CC button. Select Subtitles CC, and then select Auto Translate. Select a language, and the captions will now appear in that language.
Sort of gone through, and they will hold their heads. I never had a cat do that before. And they'll pull against the comb, helping me get out snarls. And I think it's the best they've ever been.